Hello class, and welcome to lesson 2.5, equation of the line. We're going to use a new equation today. All right, let's have some fun with that. But before we get to that, we're going to take a look at our warm-ups. And our warm-ups say, given the two endpoints f and g, find the slope, the length, and the midpoint. This is a good thing to review because next lesson you will have a quick quiz. And that's, folks, a lesson is just to gauge how you're doing in the course so far. All right. And hopefully you're doing well. Okay. So the quiz will be on anything we've done this unit plus today's lesson. All right. So let's get started with slope. So remember your formula for slope. So you've got slope of FG. Again, I want to see the subscripts in there. Y2 subtract Y1 over X2 subtract X1. Sub in your values. By now you should know which one's x1, y1, x2, y2, but if you still need it, I'll put it in. x1, y1, x2, and y2. All right, so subbing in, ladies and gentlemen, for the slope, you should have 3 subtract negative, which is automatically become a positive. You can do that right away. And negative 2 subtract 5. Don't forget your integer laws here. It's going to be 5 over negative 7. Remember, folks, property is about a rational expression. You can't have a negative denominator, so you should bring it out front or up top, one or the other. So slope equals negative 5/7. Next, we'll do the length formula, ladies and gentlemen. That's the big square root one. So we're going to go FG equals the square root of x squared subtract, x2 subtract x1 squared plus, in brackets, y2 subtract y1 squared. Okay, let's sub that in, ladies and gentlemen. I always tend to do my square root sign first because people tend to forget it. So plugging in, I'm just going to use my shortcut form here, guys. I already know I've got it here, so it's negative 2 subtract 5 squared plus, this is coming from here, 3 plus 2 squared, because it's the same relationship there. Use your calculator, ladies and gentlemen. Negative 7 squared is 49, plus 5 squared is 25. Total that up is a square root of 74. Take the square root and round to one decimal place. So FG equals approximately 8.6 units. If you just put in units, folks, that's great. Later on in the course, you'll be doing with centimeters and meters or kilometers, etc. All right, last warm-up question, midpoint. That's the big capital M. Midpoint of FG equals, you take the two x variables, x coordinates, you add them and divide by 2, and then you take the two y coordinates and divide by 2. I believe that was last lesson. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, when we do this, I always put my comma and my brackets first because people tend to forget it's an ordered pair, and the communication gets deducted there. So taking a look at this, it's going to be 5 minus 2 divided by 2, and negative 2 plus 3 divided by 2. Plugging it in to simplify, you're going to have 3 over 2 and 1/2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm okay with these being changed to decimals because they are what we call terminating decimals. So you could have 1.5 comma 1.5 comma 0.5. But please, as a side note, be careful. If you have 1/3, please don't make that equal to 0.3 because it is not equal to. Okay? Because it's a repeating decimal, it doesn't terminate. So then I would leave that in a fraction. So if it doesn't terminate, leave as fraction. And I'm okay, folks, if you leave all your answers as a fraction. Okay? All right? So I don't mind if you leave it like that. Okay? The only point, folks, why I say sometimes decimals is good is if you actually have to graph it. So it's easier to graph 1.5 on a grid than 3 over 2 because people know exactly where 1.5 is. All right, there's our warm-ups. Today we're going to learn a new lesson, and it's the equation y equals mx minus b plus q. Until now, we have determined the equation of the line by getting the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, remember we used the equation of the slope, and then we subbed it into y equals mx plus b We then subbed a point in, found b, and then created our equation. It's a tedious thing to do all three of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn a short form way of doing this. Okay? So let's try our old method first, and I'm going to show you a new method, and then we're going to use this new equation. All right. So looking at example A here, we've got ordered pair A, which is 3 and 1, and a slope of 2. And we want to get it in the form y equals mx plus b. We don't have b, so we need to find b. So first step we do is sub our slope into the equation. Okay? And then we sub this ordered pair in. So for y, it's going to be the y coordinate, which is 1, equals 2 times the x coordinate, which is 3, plus b. So we simplify this expression. We've got 1 equals 6 plus b. And we want to get b by itself, so you take the plus 6, bring it over, and you subtract it on the other side. So b equals -5. And then, I apologize, what am I doing wrong here? Nope, that's fine. Okay, and then don't forget to sub it in the equation. So y equals 2x minus 5, where you've subbed in the slope and the equation. Now, that's one way of doing it. I'm going to show you another way, and this is kind of a cool way. I actually like this method, where you just sub it into the slope formula. So I'm going to say slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to sub in what we know. Okay, so the slope in this case is 2, so I'm going to sub in 2 equals my y2 value I don't know, but I'm going to subtract my y1 value, which is 1, divided by my x2 value, which I'll leave as x because I don't know it, subtract my x1 value, which is 3. Now all we need to do, folks, is rearrange this to solve for y. So the first thing we need to do is realize we can cross multiply. Okay, so it's going to be 2 times x minus 3 equals y minus 1. Using distributive law, we got 2x minus 6 equals y minus 1. To get y by itself, you bring the -1 to the other side, and it becomes a plus 1. So to finish off, y equals 2x minus 5. That's a cool method, isn't it? All right. Try either or method for example B. Okay. You try it on your own, pause the video, and come back. So pause. Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you chose one of these methods. I'm going to choose the second method, folks, just because it's new. So I'm going to go m equals y minus 7 divided by x. When you subtract a negative, it becomes plus 1. Okay, and instead of m, folks, I'm actually going to put in 3, so I'll sub that in right away. All right, now to get x by itself, cross multiply, so it's going to be 3 times x plus 1 equals y minus 7. Using distributive law, 3x plus 3 equals y minus 7. And we're going to bring the -7 over, so it's going to be 3x plus 3 plus 7 equals y. So y equals 3x plus 10. All right. Awesome. Now we're going to get to the other side. I'll just pause for a quick sec. All right, guys, so now we're getting back to another way to determine. And I find this easy, folks, because you're going to sub in the slope and the point, but we don't have to worry about b. So this is a good, effective way to do it, and it takes less steps. So hopefully you like this because it's kind of like a shortcut. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting in the slope for m. So m is our slope. Okay, and that goes here. And then we're going to sub in the point. And whatever point we have is going to be PQ. So instead of x1, y1, we're going to use P and Q. The reason why we can't sub in x and y is because we have an x in the formula. We already have the equation built in with the x and the y. So that's why we got to give new letters to it. So P and Q are going to be your ordered pair. And we're going to be using this in next class as well. So we're going to make this, expand on this even further. All right. Here's our example. Determine the equation going through the point A, -1, -2 with slope of -4. So let's start off easy, folks, and we'll just, step one, we'll sub in the slope. So you're going to go y equals, and I'll put it in different colors, so just give me a second, okay? Okay, so I'm going to sub in -4 for my slope. That's step one. Okay? Step two is going to be to sub in the point. So we need to find that PQ is really our ordered pair 1 and -2. Okay, so it's going to be y equals -4 x minus p, which is 1, and then minus, you could say plus minus, but it's going to be subtract 2. All right, so we're close to getting it in y equals. We just need to now step 3, which is distributive law and simplify. So step 3 is to expand and simplify. So we're going to go y equals -4x plus 4, because a negative times a negative make a positive, and minus 2. Just be careful here, guys. These arrows, I think this arrow was a little long. Let me see if I can erase it. So that arrow should have gone here. Okay. Just 1 second, guys. All right, folks, sorry about that. I'm back. So finishing off, now we just have to collect like terms. So we got to collect the last two terms. So y equals -4x plus 2. All right. Pretty easy, eh? Now you try the second one. Now don't be alarmed, but we got a fraction here for slope. So sub in the slope. Okay. Sub in the ordered pair. Do that in a second. Okay, so subbing in that ordered pair. When you sub in a negative value, it's going to become a plus. Okay. And -5. Everybody good with that? Now, using distributive law this time, folks, make sure that you choose your fraction button in your calculator. It'll do the work for you. So 2/3 x, and that'll work out to be +4 -5. Collect like terms for your constants, and you're going to have -1. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a third option, a third option, I already showed you. The third option is just using that one, which is the one I did already on the first page. So you can try that as well. All right, here's your homework, folks. Page 96, 97, numbers 1 ABC, 2 ABC. For 2, don't graph, but for 3 A, C, E, I would like you to graph. Have a great day, and we shall see you later. See me if you need any help. Ciao.